Morning YouTube. Well, it's Sunday morning. The smoke is in the air. It was a really hard night last night for towns down the coast and in Victoria and everywhere really. But one big thing is after my last video I felt a bit bad because I was more concentrating on the negative of life, and I am just so overwhelmed by the kindness the world has shown our firefighters. That is amazing, the help that's coming in. Thank you. So that's why I think it sort of fits in with God on Our Side and War and Peace, which I'm concluding, which hopefully will tidy up. So as I left, the last video was practically guns and warfare and the repeat. And it's not the guns, it's like money. Like, money isn't evil, it's just what is people behind the money, how you use the money. Guns are the same, I suppose. You want to live with them, you live with them. You don't, you don't. Like it has been for history. But the last, I hope I say this right, the last War and Peace, alright, get back to that, because that's more, the reason why I like War and Peace and God on Your Side together is where Tolstoy goes into a lot of research into the individuals and the division of the community, and then eventually war, and then at the end comes to a conclusion that maybe if our consciences were more set on helping each other, maybe the war wouldn't have happened, and we could have talked before we went to warfare and learn about each other. That's just a very quick summary of a very long book, because it has to be long. You can't skip when it comes to such detail of big events, because there's no one hero, there's no one person that saves the day. Like Winston Churchill didn't win World War II. If it wasn't for the Russians, America didn't win World War II. They didn't even get involved into the war until Japan invaded Pearl Harbor. If it wasn't for the Russians and the English, like, it's just insane what we learned back, because I was born in 1973 at the end of Vietnam. So today I'm learning a lot from my children, because they're exploring the internet, they're learning about stuff that I should have known but never got taught. And so for someone who lives in a different country than me could believe that my way of thinking or the country I live in doesn't care about them. But maybe we just don't understand each other, like, forever. As a teenager, the Russians and Americans were both as stupid as each other, and they had gathered enough chemical weapons to blow this world up 1,000,000 times over. And then we saw the peace, or we were led to believe the peace, but really we weren't really told what the Russians were doing wrong. It's just they fought together in World War II, then all of a sudden they hated each other. Why did Japan attack Pearl Harbor? And then if you look a little bit deeper into the history of it, it's all about, I'm sad to say, it's all about our Western way. Our way of life has been bullied onto people. Our so-called Christian values, if you don't accept them, then we will go to war with you. That's what it looks like to me. I could be very, very wrong. These are not Bob Dylan's views. These are nobody's views but mine. And my views. So you look at Japan, and Japan started allowing trade, started allowing Christians, started allowing people to come in to their country, but they noticed, this is way before World War One and World War Two, they noticed their culture wasn't being appreciated and accepted, and so they practically told everyone to get out of the country and made agreements with one trade company because they wanted to keep their culture. Same as Russia in a way, they wanted to keep what was their foundations, but because America and Britain had another view, Russia was told you have to go the way of the majority and not live the way you want to live. The same as we have with Iran. Like, I've been researching Iran, and I can't see what Iran's done wrong except have a government voted in by their people. But over the years, the fear of that type of government not being accepted has led to oppression of their own people and fear. And with that fear and division, we end up in war. So I think that's what Bob was trying to say in that song. Like, we're all confused. We all know, we all have no understanding of each other, and we can't bully a way of life onto each other. Like, even here in Australia, the Christians came in with the Bible and believed their life was right, and now we're suffering today because we didn't understand the land, we didn't learn the land, and we have that much division, and people that weren't even born back then get blamed for today for decisions that they couldn't have even made so many years ago. So what I think that song and that book and how we can live that out is by saying we've had enough. We want to talk. We don't want to put another country on a pedestal. We want to learn each other's unique ways. And don't believe someone when they tell you someone is evil and bad and wants to destroy you, because in my life personally, that happens to me a lot. I get people gossiping about me, and people think that I'm a bad person, when really, if you take the time, I'm not. And that's what the beginning of my first introduction was. I talked about myself and my illnesses because if it wasn't the helping hands of others, I wouldn't be here today. And to me, that's God. There was Christians, there was Muslims, there was Jews, there was Indians, all along the way, people who have